Hello, this is the LVCNN Weekly News Channel with Catherine Ho. In this week's news, a new Miss Universe has been chosen at the FIU Arena in Miami. Out of more than 80 countries competing in the event, 22-year-old Miss Colombia, Paulina Vega, took home the crown on Sunday night. While Miss Colombia was crowned, social media was more concerned with the fate of Miss Jamaica, Casey Fennell, who was announced as the fourth runner-up. Viewers immediately posted their opinion with why they felt Miss Jamaica had been robbed of the title, including everything from her race to her short haircut compared to the other contestants. The first runner-up was Nevada's very own Miss USA, Nia Sanchez. A photo and audio posted online Saturday claimed to show that one of the two Japanese hostages held by ISIS has been killed after a deadline for a ransom passed. ISIS demanded a prisoner exchange for the other's freedom. A video file posted by a known ISIS supporter shows surviving Japanese hostage Kenji Goto alone, in handcuffs and dressed in orange, holding a photo of what appears to be beheaded compatriot Haruna Yukawa. Saturday's posting came 4 days after an ISIS video demanded that the Japanese government pay $200 million within 72 hours for the hostages' release. Japanese officials had said they would not yield to threats, but they would do anything and everything they could to secure the hostages' safe release. This week, an outbreak of measles were linked to the theme park Disneyland in Southern California. One of California's top public health officials recommended that children under the age of 1 and those who have never had a measles vaccination to stay away from the park while the disease event continues. It has been noted that for those that have been vaccinated, it is safe to visit Disneyland. 52 cases originated in the theme park in December, and now Arizona is monitoring 1,000 people for measles linked to Disneyland. At least 85 cases are now confirmed in several states, the latest in Nebraska. On Tuesday, Disney said 5 of their employees had been diagnosed with measles, 3 of whom have fully recovered. Health officials say this outbreak is ongoing. Body parts were found in a suitcase left on a San Francisco sidewalk. Police answered a suspicious package call and made a most unpleasant discovery when they opened the suitcase and found human body parts contained inside. The suitcase was found Wednesday afternoon on 11th Street in the Mission District. Police closed 4 blocks while they investigated. The gender and the age of the person were unclear. This is an ongoing investigation. Rescue workers are sifting through the rubble of a collapsed maternity hospital after a massive explosion devastated the building. At least 2 people were killed and dozens were injured in Mexico City. According to officials, more than 100 people were in the hospital at the time of the blast. One of the fatalities was a woman, the other, a baby. 7 babies are in critical condition. There are fears that more babies and adults may be trapped in the debris of the hospital, which was on the verge of collapsing after the explosion. A witness stated, "We heard something and it smelled so much like gas, really a lot, and then 2 minutes, 3 seconds later, we saw an explosion that made everything fly in the air." Investigators are working to determine what caused this blast. In local news, the infamous hamburger restaurant White Castle opened on the Las Vegas Strip this week. Hungry customers crowded the line, waiting up to 2 hours to get a taste. The 24-hour restaurant was then forced to close for more than 2 hours after its grand opening to restock. White Castle tweeted, "Due to overwhelming demand, White Castle Vegas is currently closed for maintenance and to restock. We will let you know when doors are reopened." White Castle is just the latest burger concept to open on the Strip in the past month. More than 200 volunteers took part in Southern Nevada's homeless count early Wednesday morning. The volunteers wore bright green vests, held flashlights, and were followed by the Metropolitan Police Department patrol cars. While some slept wrapped in blankets, others were awake and watched the volunteers as they walked by. The count included homeless people staying in emergency shelters and in homeless housing programs. In the coming weeks, Officials will conduct surveys and interviews as well. According to housing officials, Southern Nevada received more than $10 million in federal grants for homeless programs last year. All volunteers received an hour of training before the count. Last year's count took place in January and found 9,417 homeless individuals, which represented a 28% increase in Southern Nevada's homeless population compared to the previous year. A Delta pilot was locked out of the cockpit, forcing the co-pilot to land the plane without assistance at McCarran Airport. Fortunately, the plane landed safely after a flight from Minneapolis to Las Vegas. The emergency call came at about 12:10 p.m. when the cockpit door of Delta Airlines Flight 1651's MD-90 aircraft malfunctioned before the final approach. Delta Airlines spokeswoman Lindsay McDuff says, "A commercial aircraft can be landed with one pilot at the control, and Delta pilots are fully trained to do so if the situation were to occur." It is unclear if the first officer, second in charge, was able to exit the cockpit immediately after landing. Delta Airlines maintenance technicians will evaluate the faulty door. No one was injured, and the 168 passengers were allowed to deboard the plane. Thanks for watching the LVCNN Weekly News Channel with Catherine Ho. See you next week.
想收看更多维加斯华文短片，请浏览新闻网 LVCNN.com。谢谢。